Assalamualaikum. My name is Dr. Zakir Naik. I am medical doctor.
Hi there, everybody. I'm for an actual scientist. Hi, that's me. I'm Forrest.
The statement by itself, theory of evolution, means it's a theory. So by English language itself, you don't have to be a researcher. When you say theory, it's a theory. When the theory becomes a fact, it changes. That thing changes into a fact. So by the basic you saying theory of evolution, it means it's an hypothesis.
No.
It is not yet a thought. It's not yet a fact.
What is a theory? What does that word actually mean? Because in common parlance, theory is just a wild guess, a random hypothesis, something that you came up with off the top of your head. But in science, it means something very, very different. Also, you are misinforming them. You are teaching them an inaccurate definition of a scientific term. This would be like if, they had in the book all about what a cell is, but then they also put prison cell as part of the definition. Yeah, that is one way that the term is used, but that's not what's in this class. And if you go and say my body's made of cells to somebody and they go, my body is not a prison full of inmates, that's exactly as dumb as saying that evolution's just a theory. Right, you don't understand what the word theory means. For those of you who are watching who don't know what a theory is, don't know what the difference is, which is totally reasonable considering the fact that this is how these things are taught. If I say that I have a theory about why my car isn't working, that just means guess. That's, I have some insight on how mechanics work, maybe not, I don't know. I have this kind of, I feel it shaking like this, I bet that means this thing. A theory is just a random throwaway word. But in science, a theory is a functional explanation for any set of observed natural phenomena that is backed by all the best evidence that we have. So when you throw around words like this, that this is just a theory, well, your body being made of cells is a theory. Germs making you sick is a theory. The Earth going around the sun is a theory. Gravity is a theory. Plate tectonics is a theory. Like, there's a lot of theories in science. That doesn't mean guesses. That doesn't mean untrue. So theory isn't used the same way in science. Theory is the highest level to which you can possibly elevate an idea in science.
Your knowledge of science is very weak. It is Boyle's law. It is not Boyle's theory. It is Archimedes' principles. It's not Archimedes' theory. Whatever's theory, when it becomes a fact, it changes into law. I'm sorry your knowledge is so weak and I wouldn't like to continue.
Okay, just
the thing is that if your knowledge is so weak, you're saying theory is the highest thing in science. I'm sorry. You're absurd. I'm a medical doctor. Theory is the highest thing in science. I'm very sorry, brother.
If someone
I'm
can
Jahangir,
disprove,
brother, I'm very sorry. Theory is never the highest thing in science. Theory, if it becomes a fact, and if the theory becomes a law, it may reach a high standard. But theory by itself, it's a theory, it's a hypothesis. Once it gets converted, it becomes a law, it becomes a fact. Newton's law, it becomes a fact, it becomes a law.
And to stop the argument before it begins, theories and laws are different things. Theories don't become laws when they're proven. That's another really common misconception. So like, for example, the law of gravity is F sub g is equal to negative g times m1 times m2 divided by r squared. That's the law of gravity. I can plug any numbers into that and figure out the gravitational pull between two objects. That can work every single time. The theory of gravity is all about space-time, bending around massive objects and pulling other massive objects towards their centers. So theory tells you like why, law just tells you what's happening. And sometimes things have a law without a theory. Sometimes things have a theory without a law. That's not always, so just, this is just people who are ignorant of how science actually works, legislating how science is taught.
Law. I'm sorry to say that by itself, calling it a theory means it is not yet an established fact. Now, if I'm going to teach you English language here, I feel you are wasting the time of the people. Surely, if you can't understand simple English, that what is the difference between a theory, that theory is the highest thing in science, then I'm sorry you'll have to go back and learn science.
সায়েন্সটা বুঝছেন সাইফুল ভাই, এটা বলেন তো, মানে এটাই তো সায়েন্স, তাই না? এটা
I always answer every question.